Lindsay adjusted the ring light in her cozy Shanghai studio, her fingers hovering over her phone screen. She was looking at her Xiaohongshu creator dashboard, and to say she was baffled was an understatement. For the past 3 weeks, her analytics had been hijacked by a single, terrifyingly dedicated user. The handle was at DragonKing99, no profile picture, 0 posts, and a following list of exactly one person, her. This user wasn't just lurking, they were conducting high-volume, systematic raids on her product recommendations. Every time Lindsay posted a holy grail skincare or sensitive skin saved my life tutorial, at DragonKing99 would buy out the entire inventory of her linked boutique links within minutes. And then came the comments under her video about a soothing chamomile lip balm. The mysterious user had left a comment that looked more like an imperial decree than a product review. At DragonKing99, the lip balm you suggested has successfully prevented chapping. A satisfactory product, bonus granted. Directly following the comment was a notification that nearly made Lindsay drop her matcha latte. User at DragonKing99 has gifted you 500 Starlight Castle's value, 50,000 yuan. Is this a corporate tax audit, an eccentric billionaire, or just a very intense troll? Lindsay muttered, rubbing her temples. As she stared at the screen, her dormant magical ability, the eye of true glamour, flickered. For a split second, the glowing digital text of at DragonKing99 single quotes comment didn't just look like pixels. It shimmered with a faint, heavy golden shadow aura that radiated an ancient, pressurized heat. Lindsay shivered, quickly locking her phone. Definitely a weirdly rich troll. On the top floor of the ultra-exclusive obsidian tower overlooking the Huangpu River, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Yi Shuo, the formidable CEO of Redverse Media and, secretly, the exiled sovereign of the Shadow Dragon clan, stood in his minimalist, marble-clad living room. He had discarded his bespoke suit jacket, his silk tie was loosened, and his usually immaculate dark hair was slightly disheveled. Standing in a semicircle around him were his 3 most trusted dragon generals, looking utterly ridiculous in modern black tactical suits. Sire General Ao, a hulking warrior who had once slain a sea serpent, saluted sharply. The young princess's scales are flaring again. If the human children at her school see her shimmering, our cover will be blown. I propose we equip her with the Iron Vanguard visor. It is forged from Absol steel and can withstand a direct blast from a phoenix. Yi Shuo pinched the bridge of his nose, exhaling a tiny puff of dark, stressed smoke. Ow. She is 9 years old. She wants to go to her 3rd grade art class, not a siege on the southern heavens. Then we paint her face with the ash of the sacred spirit trees. Commander Lai interjected, slamming a fist against his chest. It will cover the scales and strike fear into her classmates. Get out, Yi Shuo said, his voice dropping to a dangerous, low rumble. All of you out. The generals bowed hastily and scrambled out of the penthouse, leaving Yi Shuo alone with the heavy silence of the apartment. From behind a locked, pink-painted bedroom door at the end of the hallway, a soft, miserable sniffle broke the quiet. Yi Shuo's heart ached. He walked over, resting his forehead against the cool wood of the door. Bauer, please let Daddy in. I had the kitchen prepare the mountain elixir. I don't want the elixir. Bauer's muffled, tearful voice came through. It tastes like dirt, and my cheeks are all shiny and weird today. Daddy, I look like a monster. I'm never going outside again. Yi Shuo sat on the floor outside her door, feeling entirely powerless. He was a king who could command the shadows and manipulate the stock market with a flick of his wrist, but he knew absolutely nothing about 9-year-old human-dragon hybrid girls. His late wife had been human, and without her, he was navigating a world of glitter, hair ties, and delicate skin. Completely blind, desperate, he pulled out his phone. He had bypassed the ancient dragon archives hours ago, and was now scrolling through the mortal realm's premier lifestyle app, Xiaohongshu. He typed in, how to soothe red, shimmering, sensitive cheeks, among thousands of hyperactive, brightly colored thumbnails. One video caught his eye. The cover image was clean, minimalist, and radiated a soft, warm green aura that his dragon senses immediately recognized as incredibly pure, healing energy. The handle was at Shishi in Wonderland. He tapped it. A young woman with bright, kind eyes and a gentle smile appeared on screen. Hi everyone, it's Zixi. If your skin is throwing a tantrum today, don't worry, Our skin is just trying to tell us it's tired. Let's give it a gentle hug today with the soothing Otan Jade Essence. Her voice was like a cool spring breeze, as Yeshua watched her gently pat the cooling gel onto her own skin, explaining the science of the skin barrier with absolute patience. He felt the heavy, chaotic dragon magic in his own chest settle. He stood up and pressed his phone speaker against Bauer's door, turning the volume up. Inside the room, the crying stopped. A moment later, the lock clicked. The door opened just a crack, revealing a pair of large, tear-bright eyes and a cheek dusted with glittering, iridescent gold scales. "Daddy," Bauer whispered, looking at the phone screen where Lindsay was smiling. Is she talking to me?" Her face looked so soft. "Do you think her magic cream would make my scales stop stinging?" Yeshua looked from his daughter's hopeful face to the screen. A sudden, fierce wave of determination washed over him. "It will," Yeshua promised solemnly. He immediately opened his assistant's chat and typed a furious command. "Yeshua, find the creator at Zixi in Wonderland. Buy her entire recommended skincare line now. If the store is out of stock, buy the store." "Assistant, sir?" "The beauty brand, Yeshua, do not question me. And send her the highest digital tribute. She has performed a great service for the Dragon Clan." For Lindsay, the week had gone from bizarre to utterly surreal. After the mysterious at Dragonking 99 practically bought out her entire online store, she received an official email from Redverse Media, the behemoth MCN agency that controlled 90% of the top-tier influencers in the country. The email was brief, highly confidential, and came with an attached contract offering a retainer fee with so many zeros Lindsay had to count them 3 times to make sure her eyes weren't playing tricks. Position: high-level aesthetic consultant, specialized family styling client. Highly confidential Redverse executive-level terms. Immediate physical dispatch to the Obsidian Tower penthouse. Discretion is non-negotiable. Aesthetic consulting for an executive, Lindsay muttered. Packing her professional makeup kit and a curated selection of soothing organic skincare, she assumed she'd be dealing with a demanding, out-of-touch high society matriarch or a spoiled starlet. She certainly didn't expect to be ushered into a private, high-speed elevator by 2 silent men in impeccable black suits, rising straight to the top of the city's most exclusive skyline. When the elevator doors dinged and opened directly into the sprawling, multi-million-dollar penthouse of the Obsidian Tower, Lindsay's breath caught. The space was breathtaking, all dark marble, floor-to-ceiling glass showcasing the Shanghai riverfront, and minimalist furniture. But the atmosphere was absolute, unadulterated chaos. "I told you, she cannot wear the dragonhide breastplate." A deep, commanding, and incredibly stressed voice roared from down the hall. "But sire," General Ao's booming voice echoed back, "it has been blessed by the high priests. It will protect the princess from the envious stares of the human mothers. She is 9, she needs to wear a dress, not armor." Lindsay took a cautious step forward, her sneakers squeaking softly on the polished marble. She rounded the corner into the living room and froze. Standing in the center of the room was a man who looked like he had been sculpted out of granite and shadow. He was easily 6'2", with sharp, aristocratic cheekbones, midnight black hair, and dark eyes that flickered with a dangerous, golden warmth. He had rolled up the sleeves of his white linen shirt, revealing muscular forearms, and in his right hand, he was holding a glittery pink children's hairbrush completely upside down. Beside him, sitting on a velvet ottoman, was a little girl in a heavy, stiff, dark purple velvet gown with massive, puffed Victorian sleeves and high lace collars. She looked hot, miserable, and was crying so hard her shoulders shook. "I hate it," the girl wailed, tugging at the lace. "I look like a dusty antique doll, and my face is itchy." "Bauer, please," the intimidating CEO pleaded, his voice cracking with a vulnerability that didn't match his towering frame at all. "The mother-daughter gala starts in 2 hours. I want you to look like a princess. I don't want to be a princess, I want to look cool. Like the girls in the videos." "Excuse me," Lindsay said softly, stepping into the room. All eyes snapped to her. The giant of a man turned, his gaze narrowing. For a fraction of a second, the air in the room grew heavy, pressurized with an ancient, draconic gravity that made the hairs on Lindsay's arms stand up. But as she looked at him, and then at the little girl, Lindsay's eye of true glamour flared to life. Through her magical sight, the world shifted. She didn't see a terrifying, powerful billionaire or a monstrous threat. Instead, she saw a chaotic, swirling vortex of rich, golden orange energy radiating from the little girl's cheeks. It was beautiful like molten sunlight, but it was jagged, misaligned, and overheating. The girl's natural magic was throwing a tantrum, clashing violently with the heavy, dark purple velvet of the suffocating Victorian dress. And the dad, his aura was a massive, protective shield of deep indigo shadow, wrapped entirely around the little girl. Desperately trying to cool her down but only smothering her further because he didn't know how to. Channel it, they aren't monsters, Lin-Shi realized. Her heart instantly softening, they're just completely overwhelmed. You must be Lin-Shi, Yishuo said, his voice dropping to a low, velvety rumble as he quickly lowered the pink hairbrush behind his back, a rare flush of color hitting his ears. I am Yishuo. And this is my daughter, Bauer. Lin-Shi walked past the towering CEO, ignoring his intimidating stature entirely, and knelt down in front of the crying 9-year-old. She gently took Bauer's small hands, which were warm, almost hot to the touch. Hi, Bauer, Lin-Shi said, her voice dropping into the same soothing, warm tone from her videos. You're at Dragon King 99 single quotes as princess, aren't you? Bauer sniffled, her wide, tear-filled eyes looking at Lin-Shi in disbelief. Zixi, you're real? You're actually here? I am, Lin-Shi smiled warmly, wiping a tear from the girl's cheek. Her fingers brushed against the skin, and she felt the faint, distinct texture of tiny, shimmering scales beneath her fingertips. And I think I know exactly why you're feeling so uncomfortable. This dress is beautiful, but it's keeping all your warmth trapped inside. Shall we find something that lets your inner light breathe? Bauer looked up at her dad, then back to Lin-Shi, and gave a small, hopeful nod. Lin-Shi stood up and turned to the stunned, silent CEO, gesturing to the upside-down hairbrush in his hand. First step, Mr. Yui are putting the Victorian dress back in the wardrobe, and please give me the brush, we have a gala to prepare for. With Yishuo relegated to a quiet corner of the room watching with a mixture of awe and nervous energy, Lin-Shi set to work. She unzipped her professional kit, revealing row after row of pastel palettes, soothing oud-infused moisturizers, and delicate, shimmering pigments. First, she gently cleansed Bauer's face, using a cool mint and aloe essence that immediately calmed the stinging heat of the flared dragon scales. Using her eye of true glamour, Lin-Shi could see the jagged, golden orange energy of Bauer's scales struggling against her skin. Instead of trying to bury them under heavy, suffocating concealer, Lin-Shi decided to align with the magic. We aren't going to hide these, Bauer, Lin-Shi whispered, tapping a iridescent lavender and soft peach cream highlighter directly over the scales. They're too beautiful for that. We're going to make them look like starlight. With precise, gentle brush strokes, she blended the pigments, turning the raw dragon scales into an ethereal, shimmering mermaid dragon highlight that caught the light of the penthouse perfectly. For the outfit, Lin-Shi bypassed the stiff, ancient velvet entirely. She styled Bauer in a comfortable, breathable pastel pink tweed set, paired with a soft white cotton tee and trendy, chunky sneakers. It was chic, modern, and most importantly allowed the little girl to move freely. When Bauer finally looked in the mirror, her jaw dropped. She touched her shimmering, glowing cheek, her eyes wide with wonder. I look like a fairy tale idol. Standing behind them, Yishuo stared. The heavy, dark indigo shadow of his aura suddenly softened, rippling with a warm, golden tide. For the first time in years, his daughter wasn't crying or hiding. She was beaming. The mother-daughter gala was an absolute triumph. For the first time, Bauer didn't hide in the corners. She walked into the prestigious ballroom with her head held high, her shimmering pastel makeup drawing gasps of admiration from the other kids and mothers, who begged to know her styling secrets. When they returned to the penthouse that evening, Bauer was still practically vibrating with excitement. She bounded through the double doors, kicked off her sneakers, and immediately threw her arms around Lin-Shi's waist. Zixi, you have to stay, Bauer declared, looking up at her father with fierce determination. Daddy, we have to keep Lin-Shi forever. She's the only one who knows how to make me pretty without putting me in medieval armor. Yishuo coughed, a rare, faint pink dusting his sharp cheekbones. Bauer, Miss Lin is a professional, she has a career. Actually, Lin-Shi said, looking down at her phone with a small, wistful sigh. My latest algorithm stats are still dropping. My account might not survive the month if I don't find a new creative direction. Bauer's eyes lit up with sudden genius. Then we'll help you. Daddy can be in your videos. He's the CEO of Redverse, but he doesn't know anything about girls. You can teach him, Yishuo froze. Bauer, I am a sovereign dragon and a corporate CEO. I do not do vlogging, please. Daddy, Bauer pouted, her iridescent scales giving off a soft, manipulative glow. For me? The mighty Shadow Dragon King took one look at his daughter's eyes, sighed in defeat, and looked at Lin Shi. What exactly would this entail? 3 days later, at Zixi in Wonderland uploaded a new video. The thumbnail featured a hilarious, high-contrast shot. On one side, Lin Shi looking bright and encouraging, in the middle, a very grumpy, impossibly handsome Yishuo staring directly into the camera like a hostage. And on the other side, Bauer pulling a sassy, exasperated face. The caption read, "Can a multi-billionaire CEO learn how to do a simple French braid? Let's find out. #dadlife, #glow-up, #single-dad." The video was comedy and chemistry gold. Yishuo, wearing a crisp white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, staring down at a pink comb as if it were a high-explosive device. Yishuo stiffly, the tension on this strand is mathematically uneven. I believe the hair is resisting. Bauer rolling her eyes. Daddy, you're pulling too hard, you're braiding. Not tying up a yacht. Lin Shi laughing, gently placing her hands over his to guide them. Relax your wrists, Mr. Yi, like this, see. Gently slide the left strand over the middle. The camera zooms in on Yishuo's face as Lin Shi's warm, soft hands touch his. The cold, ruthless CEO completely freezes, his dark eyes widening as a soft, dazed look washes over his face. The comment section exploded. Within 24 hours, the video went colossally viral, racking up over 1 million likes and driving hundreds of thousands of new followers to Lin Shi's page. User_9482. Oh my god, the tension when she touched his hands. He went from "I will destroy your company" to "Yes, mum, whatever you say" in 0.5 seconds. Xiaohongshu_queen, the daughter is so sassy, the dad is a total doting softie, and the stylist is a literal angel. I am subscribing to this family immediately. As the weeks went on, the styling series became a regular feature. They filmed videos on shopping for school outfits with a clueless dad and gentle skincare for preteens. But behind the scenes, a much quieter magic was taking place. Yishuo, who had spent centuries in the cold, ruthless shadow realms and corporate boardrooms, found himself completely defenseless against Lin Shi's warmth. She brought color into his sterile penthouse. She left cute, pastel-colored sticky notes on his fridge, filled his pantry with snacks that made Bauer laugh, and showed him how to listen to his daughter instead of trying to protect her with force. Every night after Bauer went to sleep, Yishuo would sit in his dark study. The formidable CEO of Redverse Media, who controlled the media landscape of the city, would lock his door, pull out his phone, and open Xiaohongshu. He didn't search for financial reports or market trends anymore. Instead, he silently scrolled through Lin Shi's past videos. He watched her talk about the calming properties of chamomile, or how a simple touch of blush could make someone feel brave on a bad day. He would play her old makeup tutorials on a loop, letting her soft, soothing voice fill the empty spaces of his room, his dragon heart melting a little more with every single word. The fragile, beautiful bubble they had built inside the obsidian tower popped on a rainy Tuesday morning. Lin Shi woke up to her phone vibrating itself off her nightstand. When she swiped it open, her screen was a chaotic blur of private messages, aggressive comments, and urgent news alerts. A rival media conglomerate, desperate to tank Redverse Media's soaring stock and destroy Lin Shi's skyrocketing popularity, had leaked a series of highly coordinated paparazzi photos. The photos showed Lin Shi entering the private parking garage of the Obsidian Tower late at night, walking hand in hand with Bauer, and sitting in a dimly lit cafe with Yishuo. But the headlines were vicious, twisted to paint her in the worst possible light. The algorithm gold digger, how a mid-tier influencer used a vulnerable single dad and his child to manufacture of her a romance, calculated clout. Insider claims at Zixi in Wonderland planned the Clueless Boss series to force her way into the billionaire's family. Comments on her latest videos were descending into a battlefield. User 9482. I knew it was too good to be true. She's just using that poor little girl for traffic. Beautilover_99, using a child for clout is where I draw the line. Unsubscribing. Lin Shi sat on the edge of her bed, her breath catching in her throat. Her eye of true glamour flickered weakly, reflecting her inner turmoil. Her own aura, usually a warm, vibrant green, was pale and trembling, bruised by the collective hostility of millions of strangers. She reached for her bag, her hands shaking as she prepared to call Redverse to draft a formal, defensive PR statement. But before she could even type the first character, her phone screen lit up with an incoming post notification from the app itself. It wasn't from a gossip outlet. It was a push notification from Xiaohongshu's official verification channel. User @Yishuo has just posted for the first time. Yishuo had never owned a personal social media account in his life. He despised public scrutiny, preferring to rule both Redverse and the Shadow Dragon clan from the quiet comfort of the dark. But when he saw the tears in his daughter's eyes this morning, and felt the sudden, agonizing dip in Lin Shi's bright, healing energy across the city, the dragon in him roared. He didn't call his PR department, he didn't issue a cold, legally drafted corporate PDF to the press. Instead, he took a photo. It was a candid picture that Bauer had taken the previous weekend on her Polaroid camera. In the photo, Lin Shi was sitting at their marble kitchen table, bathed in the warm, golden light of the morning sun. Her hair was up in a messy bun, flour was lightly dusted on her nose from a failed baking attempt with Bauer, and she was laughing an authentic, radiant, beautiful laugh that had no filters or editing. Yishuo uploaded the photo directly to his newly verified, pristine Xiaohongshu account, @Yishuo, beneath the warm, sunny photo. He wrote a caption that instantly froze the entire internet in its tracks. @Yishuo, she isn't using us for clout. I used my entire company's algorithm just to get her attention. When my daughter was hiding in her room, ashamed of who she was, it was Lin Shi who showed her that her uniqueness was a gift. When I was drowning in the cold, endless demands of my work, it was Lin Shi who brought light back into this home. She taught my daughter how to love herself, and she taught me how to love. Stop attacking the woman who saved my family. If anyone is calculating here, it is me. I will do whatever it takes to keep her. @Zixi in Wonderland, please marry us. The internet didn't just react, it completely collapsed. Within 5 minutes, the post racked up 5 million likes. Within 10, the servers of Xiaohongshu crashed under the sheer volume of traffic. The narrative flipped so fast it left the rival media company spinning in circles. Hongshu_princess, oh my god. I used my entire company's algorithm just to get her attention is the most romantic, unhinged, elite line I have ever heard in my life. Skinker's life, he proposed on the app. He publicly proposed. With a Polaroid. I'm crying at my desk. True aesthetic, look at her aura in that photo. She looks so genuinely happy. This isn't fake. Protect this family at all costs. Back in her apartment, Lin Shi stared at her screen, her jaw slightly open. The heavy, suffocating gray fog of anxiety that had been pressing down on her vanished, replaced instantly by a massive, sweeping wave of warmth. Her phone rang. It was Yishuo, Lin Shi. His voice came through the line, no longer the stiff, formal CEO, but soft, slightly breathless, and deeply earnest. Bauer and I are in the car outside your building. The press is gone. We are waiting for your answer. Lin Shi ran to her window and looked down. Parked by the curb was his sleek black sedan. Through the tinted glass of the back seat, she could see Bauer pressing her face against the window, her tiny dragon-scale highlights sparkling even through the Shanghai rain, while Yishuo stood by the open car door, holding a massive umbrella and looking up at her balcony with a hopeful, nervous intensity. A bright, tearful laugh escaped her lips. I'm coming down, she whispered, 3 months later. A new video notification popped up on millions of screens. New beginnings, unboxing our new home with D and Bauer instead of the cold marble of the penthouse. The video opened in a sunlit, cozy suburban villa filled with leafy green plants and warm pastel decor. Lin Shi sat on a plush cream rug, surrounded by cardboard boxes. Hi everyone, it's Zixi. Today we are finally moving into our new home, and we're doing a little family unboxing. A pair of hands with a hint of shimmering, iridescent gold scales entered the frame, carefully placing a cup of freshly brewed milk tea right next to her. The camera panned up to reveal Yishuo, wearing a soft, oversized oatmeal-colored knit sweater, looking incredibly at peace. He leaned down and gently kissed the top of her head. My turn. Bauer scrambled into the frame, sitting cross-legged between them. She turned her cheek to the side and gave a dazzling, confident smile. Under the soft light, Her natural dragon scales blended beautifully with Lin Shi's signature highlight, shimmered like delicate, celestial starlight. Zixi taught me how to do my ethereal dragon glow all by myself today, Bauer announced proudly, flashing a peace sign. In the background, Lin Shi laughed warmly, her eye of true glamour catching the sheer, pure happiness radiating from Bauer's golden orange aura. Yishuo knelt down behind Lin Shi to help her open a box of delicate porcelain teacups. As their hands brushed over the packaging, he gently took her left hand. Without a word, and with the most natural, tender reverence, he slid a breathtaking, custom-cut diamond ring onto her finger. The diamond shimmered with a faint, protective indigo dragon magic aura that only Lin Shi could see. Lin Shi looked up at Yishuo, her fingers slipping through his, locking them tight. Bauer noticed them, whispering, and immediately dived into the middle, wrapping her arms around both of their necks. Group hug. Bauer squealed. And don't forget to like, collect, and subscribe. The video ended on a beautiful, candid freeze frame of the three of them laughing, bathed in the warmest golden light of their new beginning. Beneath the video, the top comment sat pinned with over 100,000 likes at Hongshu_princess, from a cold, ruthless CEO to a doting husband and dad. Zixi really gave this dragon the ultimate glow up. I am sobbing at how he naturally slipped that ring on her finger in the background. Wishing this beautiful family eternal happiness. That's it for today's story. The Immoral Affairs Bureau reminds all interdimensional entities that weaponizing social media algorithms to speedrun romance is a clear violation of Section 4. Unfortunately, our department is not funded to investigate dragon lords using divine magic to help with beauty tutorials. If you witness an ancient overlord becoming a family vlogger, remain calm, file a report, and like and subscribe as required under Bureau Compliance Directive.